Is that white dude playing the devil's advocate or playing dumb?
I don't really respond to that white dude. But in this case, I'll make an exception just for you.
Scholar.
I think very deeply.
Sinner.
You make me feel so good.
Greetings, beautiful humans. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, it is Kip, the most amazing. And to my right is...
Derrick Pierce.
That's Derrick Pierce. That's the guy. That's him. He's Derrick Pierce. He's the guy. How you doing, D?
Man, I'm great.
Good, man. Good. I'm doing pretty good myself. How was the weekend, brother?
Interesting.
So,
Yeah.
Please expound upon interesting.
Had a lot of sex.
You have a lot of sex every weekend.
Yeah, we had a lot of sex this weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of awesome. Is this personal sex or work sex?
It was personal sex that was working.
Personal sex that was working. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, we had some friends over on Saturday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. See, look, man. Like, it's. I don't know, man. This to me, there's got to be a difference.
Get embarrassed for me?
Yeah, I did, because there's got to be a difference between the personal sex and the work sex, right? There's a difference, correct? Yeah. Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed. There's been some slight changes to our show. Now
Kip brought us in.
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm talking about. He's now rocking with the best. No, it's that we're uploading full episodes twice a week, and then you can get little vignettes of the show throughout the week.
Right.
You guys leave it in the comments. Let us know if you're happy with that type of
smaller
output.
chunks for all you 140 character or less types.
Yeah, see, that makes sense. I like that. Smaller chunks for all you 140 character or less types.
What was that platform that was like
Vine?
No, not
No.
6 seconds. The one that was doing like
Vine was like 15 seconds.
10-minute shorts. Vibo?
Ooh,
Vibo?
no.
Was it Vibo? What was it called?
No, it was something that didn't.
Nobody knows. You know why? Because they went fucking bankrupt. They died.
And TikTok did it better.
Well, TikTok's only like a minute long.
True.
Or less.
True.
I think it's
Is
a minute
TikTok?
less.
I don't have TikTok. You have TikTok?
I do have TikTok. I do not know how to use TikTok. It's not for me.
All right.
I barely do reels, but I get lost down the reels rabbit hole, and then Jay will end up with 18 forwarded messages in her IG because I'm like, oh, you gotta watch this. Oh my god, you gotta watch this one too. Oh my god, I found another one of some pit bulls. Oh, look at those boxers. Look at these shoot. Like, it's just all these, and she's like, you lost 45 minutes this morning, didn't you?
So do you think that your brain has changed? Like, I'm talking about when we were kids, we would sit down and watch sitcoms, like situational comedies at 8 o'clock on a Friday or some shit when we were kids, right? But
We
now
had to wait for it.
Yeah, we had to wait for it. But now, because we can feed ourselves whenever we want, it's like you eat as much candy as you like.
Well, you can binge.
Right.
One of my guilty pleasures is some redneck TV.
Oh, yeah?
One of them is Diesel Brothers.
Diesel Brothers.
Diesel Brothers. I love Diesel Brothers.
Look at Josh over there cheesing. He's like, I know the Diesel Brothers.
Diesel Brothers. They be killing that truck game.
I have no idea what the
Oh,
Diesel
man,
Brothers
they build some of the most amazing diesel trucks. But the point is, like, I've watched their show intermittently over a long period of time, and I was just on Amazon Prime, and I was like, you know what? About to watch all of the seasons. And so now I'm binging on all of the seasons.
Look, man, I watched the Snyder Cut, the DC version. Did you watch the Snyder Cut, Josh? Bro, Snyder Cut. Listen, the first Justice League movie was trash. Horrible.
Everything from
Go ahead,
DC has been trash.
That's not really true, though.
Okay, what's been good?
The Heath Ledger Batman Returns movie is fucking awesome.
If you compare it,
The Jack Nicholson, compared to what?
if you compare it to the what's his name, the first one,
Hold on, man.
Yes, it is very very good.
No, that is one of the greatest superhero movies
are
of all
you saying
time.
that it's
one
better
of the
than the
greatest,
Christian?
top 5. It's
Hold on.
top 5 superhero
Wait,
movies all time.
Let me
Go
get my
ahead.
sentence out. You're saying that which Batman are you referring to then? That you like?
The Michael Keaton first Batman with him
Yeah.
and what?
Yeah.
The very first one?
That was the
The
dude
Batman?
who shot Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah. But
What's that guy's name?
Jack Nicholson's
that's an actor.
what you call it, Joker presentation was phenomenal. That was a great movie. No?
I'm not saying it's not a great movie. I'm saying it's a
okay.
horrible depiction of something that's supposed to come off as a comic book representation.
I don't know, man. I thought that was leave it in the comment. What is your favorite?
DC comic book movies are like dating a 5.
Okay, you know what? I'll cop to that because as of late, the DC movies have been pretty trash, horrible.
And when people were like, "Oh my God, Wonder Woman was amazing," no,
it was the best of the worst.
That's all that it was.
It was
and they got progressively worse.
And they got, because I didn't even watch the second one.
It was terrible.
But
It was mediocre.
The Snyder Cut of the Justice League movie it's a completely different film, and it's 100% redeems
it's a series
the franchise.
now, right?
So it was supposed to be a series, right? But HBO Max, in an attempt to compete with other more established, they just ran that shit 4 hours straight. And at first I thought, oh man, I'm not gonna be able to do this. And then I realized I just binge watched like 5 episodes of Last Chance U on Netflix.
I do it while I watch it while I'm doing cardio.
Look, you don't have any problem watching. It's so good that 4 hours doesn't even feel like 4 hours. It's just, very good. But in reference to what's happened in pop culture, the hottest thing in pop culture, what's hot right now?
Me.
Are you hot?
Oh no, I'm not. Wait a minute.
Okay, I was about to say.
Lil Nas and his
Montero video.
Affinity for the devil.
Yes. Lil Nas X and his affinity for the devil. Like, what did you think of the video?
I thought it was a great interracial softcore porn. Very good.
Interracial? The devil? What race is the devil?
Red.
The devil? I was about to say,
The devil was red.
Josh knows where I was going with
Where are
this.
you going? Are you going white?
Since you said interracial, what race is the devil? The devil is what? What
Why
devil?
does the devil have to be white?
Because it's what devil? It's never black devil. It's always white devil.
Okay, so
it
Jesus
rolls
is
off
black
the
and the devil must be white.
Absolutely.
Now
Jesus
we're
definitely was black.
stereotyping.
Yeah. No. Jesus was black. That's a fact.
Where does it say in scripture that the devil was white?
It doesn't.
You're just judging.
But it's funny. It's funny though.
Look at
It's
that
funny.
nice
It's
huge
funny.
brush
It's
you
funny.
are painting that picture with.
Okay. All right. So let's get to the video, right?
Oh, you don't want to talk about that? Okay, we'll go on to your point. Go ahead.
What did you think of the actual song?
I mean, for what it was a nice, well-written song. I mean, for what it was. I know what you're trying to get me to do.
Yeah,
Listen,
man, I just want you to tell the truth.
The video was awesome. I think it was awesome. The video was good. I don't like it, but the video was done very well.
Okay, good. All right, see, like, I don't like it, but the video was done well. Like, it was an expensive video.
The artistic value is intrinsical in that point.
Right.
It is.
Because I totally hear what you're saying. First of all, I think one of my biggest problems with the song is that it gets classified as a hip-hop song.
Because he's black.
Yeah, because he's black. So
they don't know where else to put it. And his name is Lil Nas.
So, what really, really gets under my skin is that hip hop is a culture, right, and it's regional. It changes by where you are. It'll change ever so slightly, right?
Sure.
The musical expression for hip hop is traditionally rap music, right?
Sure.
So now R&B music does slide into there also, and
yes.
so does soul music, and so does everything. They're all derivatives. But the problem with Lil Nas X is that when people say that that's hip hop music, it's like hip hop doesn't have any rules. Like I said this to you, if you take a banjo and put a banjo in a metal song, that's not a banjo and an 808 in a Metallica song is not metal. It's not. So you can get this dude singing. First of all, that song is corny.
Which one?
The Lil Nas X shit is whack. The song is just whack. It sounds like.
Wait, which song are we talking about?
The Montero song.
Montero?
Mm-hmm.
I like it better than Old Town Road.
Once we're going to get to Old Town Road too, right? Because, first of all, Montero is not a hip hop song.
No,
it's
at best it's pop.
It's a pop song, right? That shit sonically sounds like a Shakira song from 10 years ago.
Does that mean I can't classify it as gospel?
No.
Why not?
It's definitely not gospel song.
Why not?
Gospel music. No.
Talk about religion.
Yeah, just because it's talking about religion doesn't mean it's gospel. That means
so
that if that song is gospel, then Metallica's Unforgiven is gospel.
Could be.
If that song is gospel, then the whole East 1999 Bone Thugs and Harmony album is gospel.
Could be.
No, it could not.
Why not?
Gospel is supposed to be in worship of God.
Well, everybody worships differently.
Okay, fine, but like gospel is supposed to be in worship of a Christian God. Like I'm pretty sure that the Muslims that when they do their music they don't call it gospel. I'm not sure if the Buddhists have.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's in worship of a Christian God,
mm-hmm.
would that also classify it as a deity? No.
Well, deity just means God, though.
Okay.
Right.
So then, if he's worshiping Satan, which is part of Christian scripture,
mm-hmm.
then it could be gospel.
No. So Nah, it can't. The gospel is the word. So here's the thing, right? when people run into a problem is they start thinking that the devil and God are opposites, which is how can you be? Not opposites. They think that they're the same, that they're like positive and negative, right? They're opposites.
Why are they
not?
not?
Or like they're equal? Because first of all, in the scripture, Satan is an angel.
Sure, fallen angel.
Right? Well, angels nonetheless. He's a created being. If anything, Satan's opposite of another character in the Bible called Michael. Michael and Satan would be opposites. God and Satan would never. That doesn't even make any sense. So you're equal to the thing that created you? No, that's beyond. And in fact,
isn't Satan the antithesis?
No. In the book, Satan actually has to come to God and before him. Like in Job, he comes before God when God calls all the angels together.
Yeah.
He didn't have a choice. He had to do it. Right? The book of Job is a whole other story, but he has to come when God called him. He does what he's told. Does that make sense?
I get it because he's an angel.
Right.
Fallen or otherwise.
Fallen otherwise. He knows who God is.
Anyway, so Lil Nas is earning $20 on Satan's lap.
Bro, he gave Satan the wild lap dance.
With push-ups.
Oh, bro, see, look, man.
Hey, he's pretty good on the pole.
You know what I find crazy?
He was. He had very good splits. I noticed the toes pointed. Good job, Lil Nas. I see that those pole dancing classes have paid off.
The poor guy is grading his form.
Well, I bet you don't realize the relevance of those thigh-high boots.
Please tell me the relevance of the thigh-high boots, please.
It allows you to grip the pole better. See, you didn't even know. There was an athletic attribute to those boots. They weren't just trying to feminize him. He did look pretty feminine. But
it wasn't the baby hair in the long braids, in the waist-long braids?
No.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen that be a feminine trait. I can't
in the painted nails and the Lee press on shit.
It was all part of the video.
Yeah, it's to me, this shit is corny.
Absolutely, it's corny. Of course, it's corny.
The song is whack. The video is corny because it's trolling. It's trolling.
I will say yes, it is trolling, but I also think that it has relevance for him. Assuming, I'm going on the assumption that the things that he's written about his past and his history and struggling with his sexuality is true. Okay. So if I look at those things and say that those things are true,
right,
then the song makes sense to me in an expressive capacity.
So what happens here is that he penned an open letter to himself. Right, to his 14-year-old self. And this is where I'll run into an issue, is because the same critique that I levied upon Cardi B about being the sexualization of a female form being empowering is the same critique that I will levy upon Lil Nas X about the sexualization of a gay male being empowering, right? Because he wrote this letter talking about, it's a very open letter, and it's very open-hearted, and he's talking about his struggle being a 14-year-old boy and not telling everybody.
Yeah, how he was never going to come out.
Yeah, how he wasn't going to come out. But when you watch that video, those ideas are not presented. And he technically becomes a part of the problem because I'm thinking forward. I'm thinking about next year being in my classroom and one of my little boys is going to tease another 14-year-old boy using that video. They're going to call him Lil Nas X. That is literally going to be a slur. I can set my watch to when they're going to use that as a slur.
Sure, I get that. I totally understand that. But here's the thing. He's entitled to that expression.
He is entitled to that expression, but I don't believe that expression doesn't come without consequences. Like, if you're going to say that shit, then don't get mad when people get mad at you for saying that shit.
But I don't think he is mad.
So if the song is intended to inspire others that struggle, right?
Sure.
I don't believe that you can cause healing through provocation.
I don't know that he's trying to get healing. I think he's trying to get even.
See, okay, well then what's the point of presenting the letter then? What's the point of saying I'm doing this for others that have struggled like me? If I'm just trying to get even.
Well,
because that's selfish.
To show that there's an outlet that they don't have to hide. That you can be strong and you can say what you want and act how you want.
Right.
I think in art, right? And I will absolutely classify what he's doing as art, in my opinion. Whether I agree with it or not is irrelevant. I feel like it is an artistic expression. And he's also a young individual.
Right.
I'm assuming he identifies as a he, him.
Yes, he, him.
I just check.
Whatever
use the pronoun correctly.
Right.
These are new times.
I don't believe that, because what happens is, now everyone, I don't think that outrage in of itself is effective for helping the plight of gay people, just going forward. Listen, if you're the minority, right? your group is the minority. That means the majority can always be hateful because there's a billion people that'll support them.
Okay.
Right? And the idea of like turning the other cheek, that's a Jesus idea. It's the same thing that Gandhi said. It's the same thing that Dr. King said about loving thy enemy, right? About the whole nonviolence thing is because like provoking these idiots does nothing but harm the path, right? So here's the point. I know I have a bunch of gay colleagues that I work with, right?
Oh, you have a gay friend?
I don't want to say that, but one of my
But you were about to.
Yeah, his name is Derrick Pierce.
Don't get me twisted.
No, I have a gay colleague, right? And he's a brilliant instructor. He's brilliant at his job, and he's
Especially
amazing.
for being gay.
He's an amazing person. He just happens to be gay. And what I'm saying here is that his sexuality means nothing. You can love the person for who the person is.
Yes.
Right? And I think, though, what happens is when you're provoking people, you're literally leaning on the stereotypes. That's why this shit is cheap. That's why the video is cheap. That's why the imagery is cheap. The shit is trolling. He's literally trolling.
Okay, but what's wrong with that?
Okay, I can tell you what's wrong with that. Because dude is a pop star, right? And what happens is Old Town Road was a humongous hit.
Right.
Right? Like, I think it's got over 100 million views on YouTube.
Sure.
But it's only got like 360-something dislikes, right?
Okay.
And the problem with being a pop star is that you hit a ceiling. Once you hit that ceiling, listen, that Old Town Road song is almost as remember Sang in the Gundam style, the Korean dude, right? Did we get another song from that dude?
No, of course not.
So what does this guy have to do to reinsert himself into the consciousness?
No,
He's got other songs.
get that portion of it, but that is now where the marketing comes in. He's doing a job. He has a career.
Listen, there's no difference between that stuff that he's doing and what Tekashi 6ix9ine is doing. Like, there's no difference. There's no difference. You are provoking
I
response.
think you're going to lose me on that one.
Bro, it's edgy.
Tekashi is a fucking I'm not trying to curse. You doing good today, too. You only did one. I only did one. Tekashi is a bumbling idiot. I mean, and I say that as aggressively as I can. That dude has no business making anything that even sounds like music. He's a moron who has a marketing team, or he did a great job of marketing himself. I don't know. But he is literally the reincarnation of stupid as a person.
So back to something that you hinted at earlier, right? What social media has done today is literally blurred the line between famous and infamous.
Absolutely.
Like, both are marketable. It doesn't matter if you're famous. It doesn't matter if you're infamous. Both are marketable.
I agree.
And what's even crazier, we live in a time period where outrage is high capital. So what this guy is doing, he's literally just poking because he knows it'll work. Listen, Old Town Road was contrived. We have a black dude doing a country song, right? And there are two versions of the song. Right. The first version kind of hit. It wasn't really that big. Then Miley Ray Cyrus jumps on the song and it goes global. It's massive, right? So what I'm saying here is that there are people sitting in a room, right, that kind of create this shit. This is pop music, right?
Gary Vee talked about the cross-pollination of country and hip-hop, and I'm using the term loosely, hip-hop, right? And by hip-hop in this capacity, I mean a black dude who's doing a country song to some sort of a hip-hop beat. You know, I don't think that Lil Nas X is hip-hop even remotely. He's not even in the ballpark, nor do I think he wants to be.
No, I don't think he wants to be at all. All I'm saying here is that things that are shocking. Listen, I honestly don't think that the hate of the video is actually rooted when it comes to hip hop. When it comes to hip hop music, like, the culture that we most closely, are aligned with.
Real hip hop.
Yeah, I don't think it has anything to do with. It has less to do with the Satanism and more to do with the sexuality, right? And we know this because listen. That East 1999 album, Dear Mr. Ouija, would you please tell me my future? Will I die of murder? They're casting spells. 3-6 Mafia. RZA had that group called the Grave Diggers. I got a song called Cups of Blood. Ozzy Osbourne is biting the heads off of bats. Yeah,
He's the king of that.
Like, what is it? Iron Maiden has a mascot named Eddie, and Eddie is a zombie. And on the album cover, Eddie goes to hell and chops off the devil's head. It's really wild looking. He's holding the devil's head in one hand and a bloody axe in the other hand. So these are old tropes that music has been using forever.
But take it out of the context of music and sexuality has been an entertainment, period, end of discussion.
That's true.
Like, it generations, hundreds and hundreds of years, it doesn't matter where it is. So you can't unmarry the two.
No, you can't. But remember, we're talking about, we initially started this conversation talking about how much, like, we watch 5-minute clips of things.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
And 3-minute clips of things, and how collectively society has changed, right?
Yes.
So because we as a collective group have evolved into consuming information in such small chunks, it makes these music videos, it makes these, like, from Cardi B to Lil Nas X, it makes it actually more detrimental, right? Because, so here's the thing. Where are the positive representations of gay males? Like, Canada Josh, right? Canada Josh is gay male. He was Mr. Gay Canada, right? And if you go on his Instagram, he was
Does it say
Canada Josh.
Does it say Gay Canada A?
You know, Gay Canada. Hey, put a picture of yourself right here, Canada Josh, right there. Canada Josh, right?
Do you have a picture of your? Did you get a sash or was it a crown?
That would be dope, right?
I don't know. I don't know what they would give him.
Well, the point that I'm trying to make here is that, like, it's a positive representation, and he didn't have to get naked to do it. And
He might have been shirtless.
That's fine.
We're gonna find out.
I guess we are gonna find out. But the point I'm trying to make here is that, like, where are the positive gay doctors? Where's the positive representations outside of things that are sexual?
Maybe they're not speaking up.
See, I don't know about that, man.
I'm just throwing it out there
Yeah.
and giving it as a food for thought. Maybe they're so busy being a doctor
Right.
or a lawyer or a professor or one of the absolutely normal pursuits of life.
Right.
They just don't.
They just may not
care.
even be interested in it. Yeah, man. Because I look at my gay 13-year-old boys. The boys get it so bad in middle school. They get
course
it
they
so
do.
bad. And I think about it, and I was like, yo, if there was another gay male that was, like, you know, upwardly mobile, productive, like a beautiful person, it would give this kid some hope that all the negativity that it receives from society isn't actually warranted, and you can be successful anyway. And my problem is I don't believe that sexualizing a human being is empowering at all. That's why that shit to me is fucking corny. The Lil Nas X, like, phenomena thing that's re-happening, right?
Wow, you're gonna label it phenomenon.
Because I don't think it can happen again. I don't know if he's going to be able to shock us again. Like, bro, what the fuck is he going to do now? He's going to be fucking the alien? Like, what is he going to be doing next? What is he going to do next?
Good.
Cannibalism?
You may have just given out his next
like,
two songs.
What is bro going to do to raise the bar here to reel us back in, right? Like, okay, bro. The whole town road was shocking because it's a black dude doing country. Ooh. Not to mention they're already
They
black
even let
dudes
him on
doing
a horse
country.
in that video.
They let him on. They let him on a horse.
Just saying, times have changed.
Who is they, white man?
The devil.
The devil let him on a horse. I'll take that. He was riding the devil's horse in that video.
That's the bridge between the two.
The white devil.
Why you gotta be white?
I'm just making, just keeping it consistent. Just keep it consistent.
In Lil Nas' video, the devil was red.
The devil was red. But Nike, right? Both you and I have the wild sneaker collection, right? Like,
A lot of shoes.
Right? And Nike recently got in trouble because there was that executive whose son used a corporate account to backdoor mad, really rare shoes.
Oh, yeah. He was
mad
just
boxes, right?
shoveling them out the back
So
door with,
what happens
mom's
is-
card.
In the last, like, 5 years, the Jordan 1 has taken off. Like,
Right.
5 years ago, people really, only sneakerheads like the Jordan 1. Like, right now, nobody cares about the Jordan 2. But the Jordan 1 has blown up to the point where Michael Jordan's son has a shoe that he designed called the Trophy Room, right? That shoe, this shoe is only supposed to cost $170, right? Limited pairs or whatever. And nobody could get them. But the executive son had, like, a storage room full of them joints. Because
Now we know why nobody could get them.
Bro, on the aftermarket, those shoes are like $5,000. Like,
money.
bro. So
Anyway.
Nike is involved in this controversy, right?
Unbeknownst to them.
Yeah. And Lil Nas X, I feel like we beating his ass to death today, but
He might like it.
see, as soon as I said beating his, I wanted to say pause. I didn't get the pause out.
Lil Nas
before.
X, if you need some professional guidance in a BDSM style hip hop, pop,
Coach him up.
rock culture shock
You wanna coach him
video,
And coach him up.
I got you. Don't trip, homie. Don't trip.
So Lil Nas X puts out an Air Max 97. And he jumps right to Twitter, and he makes it look like Nike is behind him with this Air Max 97. Now, this Air Max 97 is the Satan shoe. It's all black. It's got Luke 10:18. I saw Satan as he fell like lightning from heavens on the side of it. It's got a bronze pentagram.
It has a demon on the box too.
There's a demon on the
who
box.
apparently is the president of hell.
Yes.
How did you get voted into that spot?
And you know the wild part about that is that who the fuck knows that?
I do. I learned it at the meeting.
How are you invested? That look, man. Like, is there a list of the names and job titles? This is the demon that sweeps the floors in hell. This is the demon that they have responsibilities. Yeah, this guy. So what's even crazier about the shoe? One of the most striking things is that there's an air unit, and in the air unit there's dyed blood, and there's supposed to be 1 drop of human blood.
Supposed to be,
so,
but I don't think you can do that.
Cap.
I don't think you can do that.
Cap it. No, but it sounds good though.
It does sound good, but I think that would technically be a biohazard.
Listen, so
It's human blood.
The reason why we bring up Nike is because Nike didn't make this shoe.
No, but they made the Jesus shoe.
No, Nike didn't make the Jesus shoe either.
Well, they didn't say they didn't.
Nike did not say that they didn't make the Jesus shoe. So what happens is there's a customizer named Mischief. Mischief made 666 pairs of the devil shoe. Right, 666.
Well, good thing you pointed that one out, Captain Obvious.
Hey, but
nobody would have guessed that one.
They sold those shoes out at $1,000 a pair. Like they sold them out in like 5 minutes. They were gone.
But they didn't sell it out in 6 minutes and 66 seconds.
That would have been kind of.
That would have been irony.
So the interesting part is that a couple years ago, Jesus
sold the shoe.
Mischief,
I know I saw
the same guy.
It was white.
It was a sandal. Jesus had his shoe. He had some air sandals.
Some air sandals.
Yeah, that's what he had. They were called air.
Technically, they weren't air.
Okay, he didn't need it. He could walk on water. Jesus was good. He was good.
That's what I'm saying. So what was in the sole of the shoe?
Hope and love.
Cool water.
So when we're gonna go forward, right? The shoe that Mischief did a couple years ago was literally the exact opposite. It has a golden cross. It's an all white shoe. It has what's the scripture on the side of it? I forgot the scripture on the side of it.
14 something, right? Was it?
Well, tag on it.
Yeah, you said it was 14 something because how much was the shoe?
It was 10:14.
10:14.
Yeah, so whatever it was. Oh, it's Mark. Oh, it's Matthew 10:14. Matthew 10:14 is on the side of it, and it's supposed to have holy water in the heel. When you look at it, so you can technically. The idea here is that you're technically walking on water. Here's the point:
like
Nike did not have that knee-jerk reaction to the Jesus shoe. They didn't just stand up here and was like, no. They are actually suing Lil Nas X and Mischief for the devil shoe.
Satan.
Sue Satan.
Praise the Lord.
So let me ask you a question. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that?
Well, because religion has been for sale since the beginning of time. And they sold the hell out of religion in this capacity because who's going to hate on God? Well, I will, but that's just me.
But, okay, if we going back to what you said earlier about, worshiping devil worshiper music being gospel, right?
Sure.
Then isn't selling the Satan shoe still selling religion?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Right.
That stroke goes both ways. No twist. Sorry. Sorry.
And you have a problem with my vocabulary?
I told you I had a long weekend.
You did have a long weekend. There was a lot of
about that long.
Oh, stop it.
I'm sorry.
Is this my friend?
I apologize.
Cut it, man. Dang.
So I found the religion shoe. That's what they should call it.
The religion shoe.
They should call it Nike Religion.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that shoe interesting because you said no, but I never heard of it.
Mm-hmm.
And they paid almost triple the price for that shoe than they did for the Satan shoe.
Yes.
Satan is on sale, people.
Yes. But I think the Satan shoe price point could have been a lot higher and people still paid for it because
then it wouldn't have been 666.
No, sneakerheads don't care. If it's considered rare, the shoes are individually numbered. If it's considered rare, look, I know that it's sold for for $1,000, right?
Which one?
The Satan shoe. I guarantee you today that shoe was probably like $4,000 on StockX.
Yeah.
$4,000 at Flight Club. $4 or $5 grand.
But the Jesus shoe
is about the same amount now.
Well, at least they're equal.
Yeah, I mean, they were both limited edition shoes. Listen, Nike didn't pull back from the Jesus shoe.
No.
Because they weren't involved in any.
Who's going to have a problem with them, supporting Jesus?
So what happens here is I feel like individuals want to act like things that are satanic are not destructive and are not evil and
but
are
they
not
don't
dark.
have to be.
So
I know people who are
Satanists,
and they have nothing to do with being evil.
True Satanists are not evil, right? True Satanists, forgive me for saying that they're not evil, but they're not interested in destroying people, right? Like, it's just a religion. Like, I've seen like 3 documentaries on Satanism. I am not an expert, so you Satanists, get mad at me if you want to, but I don't see it as those same tropes that we are, given as children, those same ideas.
Well, but don't you think that I did not want this to be a religious show, but don't you think that God doesn't have nearly as much power if he doesn't have an adversary.
Yeah, but like we said before, that's not how the system works. It's not about.
It is.
No, Satan is not the yin to God's yang. That's
I'm not saying
that's
that
not
in its
how it
original
works.
capacity, but I'm saying the way that Christianity preaches it, it absolutely is
So-
the antithesis.
So here's where we have a problem, right? Is because let's go back to Lil Nas X in the story
Okay.
of the letter he wrote about himself about
Right.
being kind of repressed, right? The Bible says love thy neighbor. That's like the most basic thing, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't say hate gay people. It doesn't say persecute this person. It doesn't say any of that. What ends up happening is that when you have the moral and the numeric majority, you can change it any way you want and go forward and then be as oppressive as you fucking want. It doesn't matter if we're talking about gay people. It doesn't matter if we're talking about black people. It doesn't matter. As soon as I have the majority, we can do whatever we want.
I haven't seen any Satanists hating on people who have different walks
Look, man,
of life.
I literally don't know enough Satanists, but like this
I've
is
never
the-
seen a satanic rally trying to oppress
I've only
anybody
seen
else.
satanic rallies on like shows like media outlets like Vice. They have a show on Satanism every once in a while, and you'll get this guy on YouTube with no eyebrows.
I never read a book that Satan
know what
was.
I'm saying?
I never read a book that Satan was talking smack about God.
Sitting in a dark room with candles burning, talking about Satan's about philosophy and you freeing your mind and you find the true self. I'm like, all right, bro. Like,
Did you say sitting in the basement?
he
that
might
what you
be.
said?
He may be,
I
man.
thought that's what you said.
So, but I mean,
Anyway.
doesn't this lend itself to back what I asked you about months ago about why there are porn companies that, you know, they strategically and purposely take these Christian ideas
Right.
and turn them on their heads for the sake of shock.
Yeah.
Okay. Because like I would feel like if you don't care and you don't believe, then why?
What's for the fanfare?
That's literally what Lil Nas X is doing now.
I agree.
Okay, cool.
But I also think that he might have a vested interest
And what would that
So
vested
if
interest be though?
to help him come out of the closet. I mean, he did it pretty epic. He did a
Yeah.
stripper
he
pole all the way to hell.
There was a
I
stripper
don't know anybody that
pole
came
now.
out the closet quite like that before.
Yeah, right. See, man, I just have a problem with that shit. I think that shit is so whack. Shit is
Like
whack.
I said, the execution
Look,
was an A+.
There are gay singers that just make fantastic music. What's my man's name? Oh God,
So memorable.
what was that? Yeah, Frank Ocean is one of them.
Oh yeah.
I think Frank Ocean is bisexual, but the guy, he's a soul singer, and he's I think he's from Europe. Sam Smith, thank you, Sam Smith. Like when you listen to Sam Smith's
Freddie
songs,
Mercury.
Freddie, when you listen to Sam's music, he's talking about a guy. Like he covered that Cyndi Lauper, "How Will I Know," and it's an amazing song.
The Village People. They were gay.
All I'm saying here is that
I
I
just
feel
throwing out
like
gay stuff.
Isn't
Huh?
that Whitney Houston?
I don't know if
How will I know?
that was a Whitney. Is that a Whitney Houston? That is Whitney. He covered the Whitney Houston song, and it's phenomenal, right? To me, being a person before you're being an object or something to objectify actually helps the cause more, because I have to recognize your humanity instead of recognizing a stereotype that is more prevalent, a stereotype that I've been taught. Right, I've been taught these horrible stereotypes all my life, and all you're gonna do is confirm it for the sake of, uplifting my group. That doesn't do anything.
I think he's trying to make money.
Oh, of course. Look, that video has it's been 7 days, and it's
Yeah.
got like how many views does that shit have?
I don't know. I bet you're about to look it up
I'm
though.
gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it all the way up right now, right here, right now. Let's see
Yeah.
what it has. How many?
You're gonna
views?
take time out of the show to
Mhm.
look up how many views it has.
Yeah, I'm just I'm just curious. Let me see.
That's fine. So here's the question. While you-
89 million.
Oh, that all?
Mhm.
So
It's been a week though.
he's lagging. So here's the question. So I would go out on a limb and say that Lil Nas
Mhm.
is appropriating hip hop to further his own agenda. He's allowed himself to be coined a hip hop artist instead of correcting people.
I agree.
And
He's not a
I
pop.
don't agree with that, and I don't like
He's
that.
a pop star. And I think that there are gay hip hop artists out there. We just don't know because they don't
No.
say it.
They're not trying to
But
talk about that.
like, if there's a gay dude who makes great songs and who has like fantastic, who's just barred up. He's just got bars. And I bet you this rapper already exists. We just don't know that he's gay. He's got to be out there, right?
Right.
Would we dismiss his music because of his sexuality?
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either. I wouldn't care if he made good songs. He made good songs.
But the hood would.
And that's why if there's a gay rapper out there, he's never going to be like, yo, I'm gay. Like, that's back to the point where this shit is not, a lot of the hate for Lil Nas X's music is not really about the Satanism. It's about the homophobia that goes along with him being a gay dude.
I'm not a fan of him appropriating hip hop.
Yeah, appropriating hip hop. But I mean, like, so I don't think that Lil Nas X is actually doing this. I think that he's a part of a machine. There's a company. There's a group of people. Yeah. Like, when I said that it sounds like a Shakira song from 10 years ago, it literally has the same, like, drum cadence from one of those pop songs that Pitbull would have jumped on, right? Like, these are literal canned drum loops that you can get inside of like any DAW, any digital audio workstation. And I was like, the songwriting is not that good. The singing isn't very strong because dude is like Mr. One Note Willie throughout the whole song. He doesn't have any range. He's not really a singer, right?
He's not really a rapper either.
He's not. So the problem here is that the most important thing of this whole song is the shock value.
Wow. Look, I think it's going to blow over. I don't think it's going to be a thing.
I would like to see if he's going to have another song.
Absolutely.
If he's going to have another big song like this.
Absolutely he will.
You think so?
Yeah.
I want to see what it's going to be. You going to be sucking off a dinosaur or something? What's he going to do?
Wow. Wait for you to move away from sexual Congress.
Bro, the dude gave Satan a lap dance. It looks like he's taking back shots from the devil in the video. Don't get mad at me.
Listen, he's just doing a job, man.
Hey.
Strippers got to eat, too.
Yep. I guess hoes got to eat, too.
Why does the stripper got to be a hoe? Why can't she just be the normal single mom trying to take care of two kids and don't know where the baby daddy is?
Okay, so that's not actually good either, by the way. But
it's not?
No, that's...
Sorry.
Hold on a second.
Didn't mean to classify
What's
strippers.
the difference between hoe culture and stripper culture? Difference.
Oh,
Aren't they both...
pay taxes? I don't know. I'm just trying to think outside the box, man.
That's a great answer. Because aren't they both sex workers?
I would not classify a stripper as a sex worker.
Josh.
I would classify them as an entertainer.
Josh, is a stripper a sex worker?
Yeah, I would classify them as an entertainer.
Really?
Absolutely. I would classify everybody who does sex work as an entertainer as well.
Mr. Gaines, is a stripper
Well,
a sex...
Really trying to get a second up in here,
I need a third opinion. Is a stripper a sex worker? All right. Somebody. Yes, I think so also.
Well, I'm glad you two feel that way. You guys can both be wrong together.
Don't act like you didn't get your knob slobbed. Never mind.
I never did.
What?
Not in the strip club.
Okay.
I have too much respect for those women.
Stop calling those bitches hoes. I told you that.
I wasn't cursing.
Damn it. Did I just do that again?
Josh, can we get a little scoreboard somewhere of how many times he's cursed today and how many times I've cursed today?
Put it right here.
Winning.
Yeah, he's winning.
Yeah. So I actually wanted to switch gears for a second because something happened to me on set last week. I was doing this amazing, wonderful movie for a company called Lust Cinema. And we, myself and some of the talent, became engaged in a conversation that I found extremely interesting.
Okay.
And I know we talked earlier, and I didn't tell you. Did I tell you what it was about?
No. You often don't do that to me. You just like, wait and get
wait for the show.
My fresh take.
Wait for the show. So we were discussing a role. Oh, that's right. I was talking about Boy Steve. We were discussing a role that I had played. I played in the Kill Bill parody. Okay. Right. And I played Pai Mei.
Okay.
Who happens to be a kung fu master.
Right.
The white beard and the top knot and the whole flowing robes and all that stuff. Right. So I showed the people on set the pictures from the movie, and they were somewhat mortified.
Yes.
Because they said, you're wearing like Asian face. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, that would never fly today. And I'm like,
it wouldn't.
How wouldn't it fly? I'm sorry. There's no male performers that are freaking Asian.
It doesn't matter.
There was one dude named Kenny Styles, and Kenny Styles lives in a tree now.
Oh, wow.
I'm not joking. Kenny moved and went off the grid, and he lives. Last time I talked to him, he lived in a tree. That's just what happened. I don't know. But then one of the girls goes, "Oh, there's this one dude in the business that's Asian." I'm like, A, that's one guy. B, he wasn't around when we shot this movie, and we weren't going out of our way. I don't think that I was using some sort of an Asian accent or talk. I might have, but I don't remember. I haven't seen the movie.
There's this really wildly wonderful story about you teaching Taekwondo in a Korean accent because you're sensei.
That's not my fault.
Like you studied so hard under this
blame
sensei,
my instructor.
and he had this heavy Korean accent.
Yeah,
so
he
you,
does.
when you started teaching,
Well,
you
because
started talking like
because you learn everything in Korenglish. We call it Korenglish.
Korenglish.
Or some people call it Konglish, right?
Right.
And so every time you talk, it's this really awkward moment because for like however many years, I was with him for like 14 years, right? And so when you're teaching, you talk to a kid, okay, Zaki, you line up to here, okay? And okay, everybody counting, you jumping one time. And you're like, who the hell said that?
looking around.
And I'm like, I said that. That's terrible. And we used to sit at the desk when I worked for him, and we would be selling contracts and stuff for memberships, and he would look at people and hear them speak English and go, and then I would have to translate in Korenglish, and he would be, oh, okay. And I'm like, that's terrible. Anyway, the point is,
but that's a beautiful transition because when we're talking about culture, is that culture is transferable.
sure,
Right? So like
agree.
if
You
you
have to
grew up in Japan, and let's say you're an American kid, you moved to Japan at like 12, your Japanese would be flawless.
dude, we went to a sushi bar the other day, and this black girl spoke Japanese,
And it was
spoke Japanese. She came over, took her order,
Right.
and she sounded like a Japanese person speaking English.
Right.
And Jay and I were like,
so
and she was born in Japan and grew up in Japan.
That's not necessarily cultural appropriation. That's more cultural
no.
assimilation. Like you've
Yeah.
assimilated to these things.
The problem with the situation was they were basically saying, "Oh, you could never get away with that now."
I don't think you can get away with it now either.
And I was like, I will post this picture now, and people can say whatever they want, and I would absolutely defend it. And the reason why I would defend it is there was no other viable options at the time. So if somebody were to say, for instance, do blackface, grossly inappropriate,
Yes.
there's really not an excuse to do it.
Right.
Okay. In my business, if they hired a white dude to play a black role when clearly there's black male performers, completely inappropriate. Okay. What Matt Damon did with that movie, I think it's called The Great Wall or something like that. Do you remember what movie I'm talking about?
The white man goes to China to save all the Asian people.
Yeah. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. What the hell is the white dude doing there?
No.
Saving China.
No. Tom Cruise had a movie called Last Samurai.
Totally
The
different.
Last Samurai
Hold on. Nope.
was a
nope,
white dude.
Nope, no, totally
How,
different.
is that different?
He was a white guy.
He played a
That's
white
what I'm
dude
saying.
the whole
Okay,
time.
cool. Wait a minute.
He actually.
Wait a minute. Matt Damon was supposed to be Asian in that movie?
No, Matt Damon was white, but you're just supposed to ignore the fact that he's white.
Oh, I never
He's
watched
the white
that movie, bro.
savior.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom
Bro.
Cruise's character was actually captured
Okay, cool.
and then assimilated into the clan.
all right, okay.
Not the pointy hat clan, the Japanese. It's different. Read some history.
And those are 3 X's on his shirt, by the way. Those are 3 X's.
That is 3
Those
Ks. I have a rally later on tonight,
Rough Riders.
but I'm incognito.
Juan, do you hear that shit?
I'm incognito. It's on the one side, I really love the R, but clearly I'm still close to my roots.
Of course. Back to your idea.
You brought it up,
I
man.
did.
Listen, the whole point is I feel that cultural appropriation, because that's what I was accused of, is like that's cultural appropriation. There was not another viable option. And of course, then the viable option was, well, don't do the role then. Okay, so then we don't shoot the movie? No, you figure out a way around it. Okay, now in all fairness, I mean, the pictures actually were really dope.
I think those pictures are horrible. I know exactly. I have that picture. Jay sent it to me.
It's a wonderful picture.
It's a terrible picture.
Why is it a terrible picture?
Because it harkens back to white people playing ethnic roles. Like Tonto was a white guy.
Okay, but if
you
there
look
was
back
no
into the
people-
1950s and 1940s, there were Asian actors that were. And to say that there's not an Asian person that can do this is ridiculous.
There's not an Asian person at the time that we shot the movie that was
First
in
off,
the adult business.
I think that your director has the responsibility of fixing that, right?
How do you fix it?
You might have to be patient. I don't know how to fix
Be
it.
patient?
Yeah, I don't know how to fix
You're
it.
shooting a movie.
I have no idea how to fix it, but I understand where the other actors are coming from because you couldn't do that even if there was a very limited number of black people in the industry, which is not true. If there was a very limited number,
No, there is
you
a very
wouldn't get
limited
away
number
with
of-
doing
of
that.
black
What
people.
if so I'm pretty sure there's a very limited number of like East Indians, right? But if you put brown in your skin and a red dot in your forehead and that became a East Indian yogi that's fucking these bitches, they would hang you upside down by your toes. And then your excuse is gonna be like, well, there are not a lot of East Indians in the video, so I'm just gonna make this white guy. No, bro, it literally doesn't work that way.
But it fits a storyline to a movie. It's not trying to perpetrate reality. You're recreating a movie.
No, I get it. It's a parody.
Yeah,
it's a parody. So does that mean that the rules don't apply because it's a parody?
No, I think that there should be some liberalness applied to it.
So I know that in the original Kill Bill, that Asian actor is a renowned Asian actor that did a bunch of those old 1960s, 1970s kung fu flicks, right? And those kung fu flicks became
Kung Flu. Okay, Trump.
Yes, sorry.
Wow.
Those kung fu flicks became like the equivalent of what it was called black exploitation movies in the late 1970s and the late 1960s, right? It was making these Asian movies because there's a huge palette for it. People are consuming them. So what happens is they became kind of boilerplate. Here's my point.
So you're saying all the kung fu movies were exploiting Asian people?
Yes, for the purpose of making a dollar.
I think that's a stretch.
That is not a stretch.
They were all produced by Chinese and Japanese companies.
So what? They're making a dollar. Like when you have...
But they were released in their own country.
How many versions of Bruce Lee were there? There's the original Bruce Lee, and then there's another guy. There's so many Bruce movies out there that's not Bruce Lee for the sake of exploiting the Bruce Lee name, and they're all relevant. And he was still alive during that time period.
But that's exploiting a name,
not
a culture.
What we're talking about is commerce here. What we're talking about is getting that bag, right? I mean, at the end of the day. So in the same logic that you place, well, hey, I'm making a movie and there was no other options because we're making a movie. The purpose of making the movie is getting to the money. The same way that you have, I remember Bruce Lee. I remember there was a kid named Bruce Lee, right? He's not Bruce Lee. He's Bruce Lee, right?
And Asian.
There's another Asian dude, but you can market him because of ignorance. Like, I'll just try this one. It's not the same thing, right? All I'm saying is that I don't believe that the rules change. The rules are the rules, and the only saving grace is that it's a parody.
But that's
the
why
only
it was
saving
done.
grace. Yeah, it's the only saving grace is that it's a parody.
Listen, when we do the massage scenes, I'm not all of a sudden Asian.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so it fit the character.
Right.
And there was not another option.
Yeah, I don't know.
I played Mandarin too, who was supposed to be Asian.
Yes, you did. The Mandarin.
Ironically, he just looked like an old ass rock star with his shitty makeup they put on me. But the original one that I had looked dope.
Yeah, first of all, I think that this is not Hollywood, right? And
it's
one
North
of the problems, this is North Hollywood. One of the problems that we have with porn be considered art, or porn be considered like legitimate porn performers being considered legitimate actors, is because they can skirt some of these rules.
Sure.
And because the storylines are often secondary to what the performer can do, right? The performer is hired for the scenes that they can shoot. Like they ask you what you're going to do, what you're going to do, what you're going to do, and you check off those boxes. They're hired for that more than they're hired for their acting ability. And the only reason, in my opinion, why you have a saving grace here with the Kill Bill performance is because it's porn. But that's kind of what makes porn performers hard to legitimize as authentic actors.
I think if
nobody takes the porn actor serious.
Thanks.
It's true.
That was a pretty asshole thing to say.
No, but
it really was.
That's my point. But no matter how nice you are, no matter how nice you are on ad-libbing, because like you guys don't understand that D doesn't prepare anything. I make all the notes, and this dude is freestyling for a whole fucking hour, right? It doesn't matter how nice.
Cursing. Go ahead, man.
Don't matter how nice you are with understanding the role and getting into the mind of the character. It doesn't matter any of that, because at the end of the day, they're hiring you because what you can do in the bedroom.
Yes and no.
Okay.
Because in a lot of those roles, they're hiring me because I can ride a motorcycle, or because I have an extensive martial arts background.
Right.
And then I'm also bald, so they can put me in X number of different costumes.
I've told you a billion times that you should be a supervillain in one of these superhero movies. I believe that you have a transitional skill that could go from.
I appreciate that.
From your balls out to actually covered up and still, speaking lines.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But I'm still curious as to, and I get the argument. I just don't agree with the argument. I think that at some point in time, you have to draw a line in the sand and go, stop being so freaking sensitive. You have to, because we didn't grow up without rubbing dirt on your wounds and then picking up and moving on. And I get there are some things that are a no-go. Okay, and since I used the blackface before, blackface, yeah, that's a pretty bad line. You should never do that. Okay, but what happens if there were no black actors? And I'm not saying that as in they were barred from acting. I'm saying that they just didn't exist in that genre.
Okay, so there's an answer to that because there's a guy named Al Jolson. He's one of the most famous minstrels of all times. Painted his face, put the red lipstick on, put on the white gloves, right? And what Al Jolson was doing is he was copying like the musical aesthetics and the dance aesthetics that he would have received or saw from black people doing in the black club, right? Or from black people doing, like, the idea of black expression and black articism it comes from a plantation, right? So what ends up happening is because these black people can't even get into the building.
Got it.
It makes it void of. But
I'm saying
what it does is it actually further dehumanizes the person. Now the person just becomes a singer and a dancer, and all this shit actually feeds into the stereotype about how all black people can sing and dance and all the other bullshit. That I get it.
Because my brother can't dance
at all. My brother cannot dance, not a lick.
But when that particular person or group of people do not exist in that capacity, then what? You just gotta go, oh, well, darn, I wish there was an Asian dude that could play this role and have sex on camera?
I actually think
Sorry, guys, we can't do the movie.
Yeah, I think
we can't do the movie because there's no Asian dude in the business.
But then what's the high ground? Just offending people just because you have to do a movie? Once again,
it's porn. It's inherently offensive.
And when we go back to why I said that porn actors are not as respected is because you can always play that. You can always play that card. Pow! It's porn. That's like an Uno to draw for, or the one with all the colors. You ever played Uno before? No. All right. Well, whatever, bro. Uno's a great game, but that's like you can always throw that card on the table. Spades. Let's go. The big joker. That's the big joker, right? You can always throw it on the table and say, there's my trump card. It's porn. I can shrug my shoulders. It's porn. So it doesn't have to be, the acting doesn't have to be that well. Like, how many female performers read and sounded like that speak and spell shit from the 80s, right? You remember the speak and spell? Yeah. Like, I am here to rub your balls.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I'm just saying that there does have to be a line. At what point in time do we stop being so friggin' sensitive where everybody's offended? Buck up.
I think that we can actually stop being offended when we start leading with love. And I know that sounds corny. Well, it is corny,
because it's empty, so you have to expand upon that.
So what I'm saying here is if we go back to the golden rule, right? Like be on to others or treat others like you would want to be treated. Okay. Like if we start there, then individuals, because what happens here is this is kind of like the conversation that we had when we went to dinner and that the stranger was teasing me. And I said, you can't tease me.
Right.
Because you don't love me. Like me and you, we'll go at it, right? And I know that even though we say some hurtful, mean shit, especially if we're standing in a circle, like it gets pretty rough. Like some of our brothers get it worse than Loso gets stir fried. Y'all be stir frying Loso for like days on end. I was like, oh. But the difference is that Loso knows that we love him, right? So if you lead with love, then those things, to stop being sensitive, to stop being a baby thing, actually kind of works.
Okay. So again, it still brings me back to the same point. I personally don't care if somebody is excessively right, meaning politically, right? Because it's something that we talk about. Okay. Right. Yeah. I listen to Candace Owens. I listen to Shapiro and all them. I don't listen to them because I like them. I listen to them because I want to hear what they're saying, and I don't always disagree. Okay, and they say things that offend me all the time. But I don't get in a huff and leave a comment and say, "Oh my God, I'm so sensitive now because you said something that was hurtful and I'm offended by it."
Right.
You said that. What did he say about Lil Nas? That one dude that. He said he's a degenerate and half illiterate. Half illiterate degenerate.
Half illiterate degenerate. It's like,
now, what if they said that about a sex worker? Should I be excessively offended now and be hurt and go cry about it?
But
the hell do I care?
So me, I don't like the Lil Nas video because it's whack. I just think the video was whack.
Sure.
But I can't really think of a cool way to do Satanism. I mean, if I think hard enough on it, there are songs that are really dark and have those aesthetics. Yeah. I think I've mentioned that Bone Thugs and Harmony album like 3 times now. Yeah. Right? Because I was heavy in that East 1999 record. Heavy, right? I'm heavy into Tool, right? But I think that when we're talking about a personal attack, making this person lesser of a person is where you have to kind of draw the line. Like that dude didn't have to say that he's illiterate. Like,
No, it's a
Like,
dig,
what the fuck
and
are
that's
you
what I'm
talking
sa-
about?
and
Like-
that's what I'm saying.
Right.
Is that at what point in time does somebody just give them the finger and go F off, dude? Like, I don't really care what you say. You don't matter.
So, I think I said this. I'm not sure if I said this on camera or off camera, right? But for the Lil Nas X side of the world,
Right.
being provocative only garners you attention.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily garner an answer to the solution or a solution to the problem that you have. The kid had a problem. He wrote a letter about the problem he had, right? But just provoking individuals, all that does is provoke emotions. It doesn't even provoke anything logical. So now you have this group of individuals. Like, you showed me the clip of the Candace Owens show, and I'd never seen it before. And what was the most striking to me is that all these people agree with each other.
Well, of course,
like, nobody disagreed with each other.
It doesn't make sense for them not
So
to.
yeah, they were literally all saying the same long ass sentence. It was like,
Right. But
like,
but the Young Turks do the exact same thing on the other side of the coin. That's why I brought that up, right? I watched both sides for a reason, and I think that it's important. And the irony of the whole thing is, if you for me, if I watch politics long enough and I go left, they inevitably come back right. You feel me? Like, they go so far left that now they're starting saying some things that are unintentionally conservative.
Look,
you shouldn't say this, you shouldn't do that, because that's out of line, and I think people should have opinions, and if their opinion offends you, then tough shit.
man, look, it's like you can't run into a packed theater and scream fire and then ask people to act rationally about the fire that they perceive that you told them.
Okay,
You
so
can't
what's the correlation?
The correlation is that you can't provoke these people into some type of weird ass emotional state and then ask them to act rationally and accept you for who you are when you provoke them into some weird ass emotional state.
I think
It
running into
literally doesn't work
I
that
think
way.
running into a theater and yelling fire is a very specific activity.
No, so
I think having a disagreement about an opinion is something much more broad.
So Dr. Martin Luther King knew that black people were being wholesale beat and murdered and lynched.
Absolutely.
Murdered and lynched is the same thing, but we're just indiscriminately without any type of recourse, right?
Sure.
And what he also understood is that there's no way that I could provoke these individuals to do this. If we started a war, we would lose.
Sure.
Right? And that's why he's talking about the content of your character. He's telling you to rise above all that evil shit so that these people will actually humanize you and see you as a person. Because
I get that.
Now, if you can, identify my humanity, then we can move forward with love. And I think that when we're talking about these individuals that have this provocative thing and then they want to fall back and play the victim, like, but I was kind of mistreated as a child, you're kind of hustling backwards here. Well, right? Because if all I have are stereotypes, that's all I got. All I got are stereotypes. And all you do is
aid and abet the stereotype.
Because you know that the music business, since like YouTube, there's been a whole lot of people like pulling back the veil on the Satanisms, music business Satanists. Music, like I work in the music business for a little bit, but people have been talking about, the whole sell your soul to the devil thing is a real idea. People really believe that individuals, like the devil shows up with a contract, I'm like, yo, sign here, and then you got a record deal and you good to go. People believe that type of shit happens.
Right.
The point that I'm saying here, that's literally ignorant. It's actually more complicated than that.
Well, so listen, obviously we both have differences of opinions and cultural appropriation. We want to know what you guys think.
Yeah.
Where is the line for you? I'm interested because I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm saying that it's my opinion. I don't know that I disagree with everything Kip said, but I'm really interested to see how far is so far that now it becomes ridiculous. That's what we want to know.
Right.
So now is the time of the show when we move into fan comments, watcher comments, subscriber comments, listeners of the show, and what else we're doing? We're doing UFC and porn stories.
So I always appreciate all the comments, and I know that D and I are very liberal. I actually invite the conservative ideas because it's cool, man. Look, the whole ethos behind this is an open conversation, like we're sitting in a barbershop. Right. So sometimes there's gonna be dudes that say some wild shit that you don't agree with, but it's a barbershop. There's like some sacred ground there, so that you can kind of express yourself outside of anybody hating you for it. So with that being said, Sharice Scott is back in the comments. Sharice, good look. We love Sharice, and she just she actually just quoted me because I said something about Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion thingy bumping.
Yeah,
and she put thingy bumping with a bunch of laughing emojis. because during the performance they look like they bumped their
Get
fingers.
to the one.
Okay.
One that we need to get to.
But the one that I'm talking about is from a guy named James Archer, right? And James Archer is specifically talking to you. He says, "Is that white dude playing the devil's advocate or playing dumb? Candace was on the truth train, not the Trump train. And Cardi's tweet was legitimate libel and very offensive related to her family. How that dude just brushes it off as street style is shameful."
James. First thing, that white dude has a name. His name is D, Derrick Pierce, any of those above. I don't really respond to that white dude. But in this case, I'll make an exception just for you. That being said, you should look up what libelous means. We'll start there. Okay, libelous has to have some sort of libelous. Has to have some sort of negative effect on you in some sort of business aspect of it, okay? It also has to be rooted in something that's completely untrue. Now, when Cardi B actually posted that, she had retweeted and read something that she believed to be true. She didn't make it up. Somebody else did. And then she retweeted it thinking that it was an actual real comment. And apparently, and I don't know this to be true, but I did read somewhere else that Candace Owen actually copped to something having to do with her husband cheating. I don't know the full parameter. Go ahead and read it.
Liable, the responsibility by law, legal answering. It is the supplier of goods and services can be liable. Oh, no, that's the wrong one.
No, libelous.
Yes.
You'll keep looking.
Yeah, I'll keep looking.
All right, English teacher.
Hey. So James actually did come back and he said he responded to me, right?
Yeah.
Because I thanked him for his ideas. I thought James, thank you for we love you, James. But he said, cool, bro, appreciate it. Shameful may be too strong a word. Don't want to piss anybody off or anyone off.
Don't ever backtrack.
Yeah,
if that's
James,
how you
let's
feel,
rock with it,
stick
bro.
with it.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem with you solidifying your opinion, even if I don't like the way you put it. That's okay. You're probably not going to like how I respond. I'm not really too concerned about that.
Right.
Okay. I do want to have the dialogue. So that being said, just to kind of round that out, you might not like the way Cardi B responded. Don't ever get it twisted. Candace Owens is the conductor of the Trump train. Okay. If he was into black girls, I'm just letting you know that's what it would be, okay? I know, I hear you, but this is what it is for me. So don't misunderstand the two. Candace sees a free ride and she's going to take it. That's why she has a show on the Daily Wire now. I'm not saying she's not intelligent. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm not saying she didn't work to get where she is. But don't misunderstand. She took these opportunities to gain favor. She took these opportunities to gain momentum, and she's doing a great job of it.
Yeah, I think Candace is a conservative Republican, and she expounds these conservative Republican ideas, and she would do that with or without Donald Trump.
Yes,
Donald
but
Trump
she
wasn't
saw the
president,
opportunity.
Well, I mean, because he was the president incumbent, so he's the leader of their party. If Donald Trump, if there was
set it
another
up.
president that was a Republican, she would follow him also.
Maybe not.
No, when you look at it where
She
stands,
would because she's a conservative, but
Yeah,
she
she's
might not have done it
super
with so much
conservative.
zest.
So dude went on and said,
I got it. And to round it out, you might not like Cardi B because her vernacular doesn't fit the way you speak. Okay? That's okay. You don't have to like it. All right? That's part of disagreement. So we can just agree to disagree, and you can call me out on something else. Don't turn into a big baby about it now. We just talked about speaking your mind. So
James,
don't back
we
off
appreciate
now.
you, bro. Keep coming with the smoke.
Come with it.
All right. It is porn
Now-
time, buddy.
We're gonna just let's do that.
'Cause, yeah.
Well, because the only UFC to talk about was
Was
Zagano.
Stipe getting his head knocked off? Poor
Yeah.
Stipe, bro.
Yeah,
That
he looked rough.
Francis put Stipe in the nether region. He put him in the Superman Phantom Zone.
Yeah,
Like,
it was pretty bad.
It was terrible.
And it was decisive. He had Bambi written all over the legs.
It was all bad.
Actually, he looked like he looked like one of them backyard folding chairs.
He looked like a folding chair. He
just click, click.
There's a difference between going to sleep and getting knocked out. Oh man,
that was pretty rough.
Oh man, it was rough.
Yeah. So anyway, porn stories.
Give me a story, man. Tell me. Well, you did kind of touch on a time where you played an Asian role. Has there been a role that you played that you just did it, but you didn't feel right about it? And I'm not talking about Tell me about a role that you did. You was like, I don't know if I should be doing this. You're conscious.
Told you tapped out on that one. I did. I told you. It made me uncomfortable.
Oh, no, yeah, okay. Can we get a different one, please? It's too late for me to run away from this shit now. Okay.
You thought I was just going overboard. I really did feel that uncomfortable.
No. God. Give us, hold on.
Another one that makes me uncomfortable.
I wish I could hit the rewind, but D.
I played a gay guy who had to have sex with Alexis Texas to keep his job.
So you had to act like you didn't like it?
Yeah. I was supposed to be interior designer for Alexis Texas, and she was like going to be like governor or something.
And as hetero as you are, that must have been very difficult.
I was in there. I was like, we could just do colors everywhere. Oh my God, there'll be pinks over here and blues over here. Wow. It was going to be amazing. Wow. And then she was hitting on me, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel so uncomfortable because you're touching me. Please stop. Hey, it feels uncomfortable.
D, hold on a second.
What?
Do gay people find out as offensive as when you dressed up as an Asian person?
I don't know. I don't care.
Like, do they?
I don't know.
Like He's acting. Like, is there a thing called gay face? We talked about blackface. We talked about yellow face. Is gay face a thing?
For the record, I know some very, very manly gay dudes who would knock people the hell out.
No. You are 100% correct.
Yeah.
We can't just paint gay with a broad brush. But is there a thing like we see it all the time, dudes?
But
act like they're gay on the movies and stuff.
But they have not genres, but like the twinks and the bears and.
No, I do not know the twinks and the bears.
Classification.
Yeah, thank you. Classifications. Yeah.
Bear sounds big. What?
Well, they're big and hairy.
Okay.
And
what?
twinks are like teen looking, very petite.
Okay.
And there's something in between. I can't remember what it was. I was watching somebody's reel and he explained it wonderfully. I can't remember what it was called.
All right.
And then they have like the ones that are flaming, and I don't know all the terms.
Flaming just sounds bad.
Well, that's the.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very succinct, well-rounded episode because we came all the way back around, and on that note,
if you culturally appropriate gay of feminine traits, is that bad too?
That's what I'm saying. Is there such thing called gay face, or did we just make that up right now?
We might have.
I think we might have coined the term.
Make up gay face?
Is a gay face a thing?
But that I never heard Asian face before either.
Yellow face, Asian face. This guy's called
wow,
yellow face.
Yellow. At least I kept it into a region of the world.
No. That's why
you just went racial with it.
It's called. Oh my God, that's the whole point of the shit. Is it's supposed to be racially insensitive?
Yeah, but you don't paint your face yellow. Blackface, you paint your face black.
Red face was what that dude did when he played Tonto and the Lone Ranger and back in the old TV shows.
Well, right, but that's because they
like when Elizabeth Taylor.
But didn't Indians actually paint their faces with colors in red and stuff like that?
No, that's not the same thing. We're talking about.
Oh no, I'm gonna ask Indian Joe.
Ask Indian Joe. Indian Joe would know because
he's actually an Indian and he prefers to be called Indian Joe.
Like, but the Redskins is but the Redskins is no longer the Redskins anymore.
No, but I mean, like, that's where it all came.
Yeah,
That's
it's
probably why I paint the face red.
Exactly.
I don't know.
We talked a lot.
Just a normal white dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm apologizing for my whiteness because I don't want anybody to be mad at me because they're so excessively woke and hypersensitive about me being white. Sorry, Kip.
Why are you apologizing to me?
It just felt like
I just feel all the way patronized right here. What the fuck do I got to do with your white guilt? Listen, you
do.
Keep all that white guilt over there.
No, I need to protect you.
I'm not sharing. I
need to protect you from the world, Kip.
You know what? That would be nice. Where my motherfucking reparations at? Whitey?
I'm trying to protect you, Kip.
I'm just saying.
From all those white people who are not woke. And they can't.
Hey, some of the woke white people are kind of rough to deal with too. Though. Some of the woke white folks is a little rough. Oh my God,
they go overboard.
Some of the woke white folks is a little rough to deal with.
If y'all ever see Kip out in the world and he's having a problem with a non-black person, he's fine. He doesn't need your help to tell that person that they're wrong. He got it.
Once again, if we could put a pin on this thing, and I said it before, and he said, well, it's a little too nebulous. The idea of leading with love, just simply loving each other, seems like the common denominator to healing.
I'm cool with that. I love you, Kip.
I love you, D.
All right, we're going to end on that note. Listen, if you don't subscribe to the show yet, click the button below here or up there or around there somewhere and become a subscriber. Get the updates, get the little clips that we're going to be putting out now. Follow us on Instagram, Scholar and Center. You can follow Kip at...
My personal one?
I don't know. Did you want people to know that?
_talented 10th. That's me.
And follow me, Derrick Pierce. We love you guys.
Get well, TMX.
Scholar,
I think very deeply.
sinner.